to start fights with you. Yeah. I call this meeting to order on March 25th, 2025 for the Greater Southeast Area Commission at 6:33. Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry.
Here's what I found.
Is that me or you?
No, that's Peaches.
Oh.
Saying here's what I found?
No, that's Siri.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Okay. Calling roll. D'Angelo Barnes, chair.
Here.
Mike Harper, vice chair.
Here.
Mark Peaches Calhoun, secretary. Here. Victoria Murray.
Here.
I don't know why Mark is on there twice. And we've got Diana Bunting.
Here.
Here. The only person we're missing is Sheila.
And the committee person? What's his name?
Committee person
The
is.
person who's on the committee.
I wasn't put him on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I yield back.
We all stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is our first meeting where we are actually doing it live, so I will just remind everybody that you are live today, and please be on good behavior. And then acknowledgments. I call this Parks and Recreation, Gender Road. That's you guys. So what did you want to come and present?
So I'll just do a brief introduction. I'm Daniel Beer. We're landscape architects with Kinley Horn. We're currently working on Gender Road park plan. We wanted to get it in front of you guys, share it with everyone, and make sure that there weren't any questions about the park, and just sort of walk through what we're proposing, all the amenities associated with that park and track. So we have a brief PDF. We also have a hard copy plan. I don't know what's available.
You can give it to me.
It'll need to be hard copy because I forgot my Mac doesn't have USB. I don't have the converter. I'm new to the Mac world, okay?
What's that?
I said I'm new to the Mac world.
Oh,
I'm not used to these converters for everything else.
I have one and I didn't bring mine.
Welcome home to Matt.
we could probably put this board right on that white thing up there and then sit in front of everybody.
Actually, if you just put it right there, it'd be fine. Yeah, right there, be fine.
Yeah.
You need some Apple tech support.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I just forget that every normal connection, you need a converter for that.
All right. Is that front and center enough for everybody?
We can all see it.
I'll let Ethan walk through the plan, but we'd love to just talk about everything that we're sort of proposing here. So, sure. Yeah.
My name is Ethan Cundiff, also a landscape architect at Kinley Horn. So we're the consultant on this project, and this update is kind of more to let you guys know what's going on. I know that we had presented a progress schematic design plan prior, but the status of this project currently is final construction documents have been submitted. The project's been out to bid and bids have closed. So there's not a construction contract awarded yet. The bids have closed, and we're working through that with CRPE. So this is more or less kind of the final what you're looking at. So it's more of an update rather than like a feedback session as well. So this is the master plan for Gender Road Park. Your Gender Road access is going to be off of the current Pickerington Ponds Park, Metro Park Drive down here. You have Shannon Road right here, got the big church, and you've got the Pickerington Ponds Park Drive right here. So our access will come up with that. So this main parking area here, we'll have 2 basketball courts, 4 pickleball courts right there off the parking lot. We have a playground right here. We have a here, so shade, and we've got taking shelter. Then we've got on a bike scoot track, which is aimed at kids. It's concrete bike track that has waves and curves. It's like a precursor to when kids will grow into parks. More or less, we've got a lawn area here. So pick up sports games, picnic, programming possible. We've got an obstacle course up here. So we've got an obstacle course in Columbus at Glacier Ridge, Metro Park earlier. We also have one inside Audubon. So it's like got these wooden obstacles. Some are upper body, some you climb over or jump, balance. So kind of fun circuit for people who work out, have some fun, challenge themselves. Got a disc golf course also that goes around 18 holes. And then we have open meadows there, some native seating for pollinators. So those are in the plans currently. We've got ponds here for stormwater, but they'll also be aesthetic with native plants around them. There's connection to the existing Pickerington Ponds, Burning Lake Trail there. So that is what is those plans, construction. Hopefully will begin the next month and a half, 2 months.
Is there a restroom?
We have a restroom pad here. Current plan is for a portable restroom right by the parking lot. We've got ADA access, so there's no curb separating the parking lot from the drive. There's parking blocks for physical access, but we've got ADA access from the parking lot to the playground, to the courts. We do have canopy right here for shade while you are playing football and basketball.
How does the Metro Park feel about people utilizing the restrooms when they're at that park? Because they're very close together, and the Metro Park has a different budget, I'm sure, for maintenance of their restroom. Is that going to be an issue? Have we discussed that with them?
So we are talking, us and the client, PRPD, we are talking to Franklin County Metro Parks, and not just that, we are also talking about the entry signage. We'll need to have signage as well. So we are currently talking to them about that, and we're, it's pretty cordial. So we're very confident that any conflicts or problems that may arise can be dealt with.
Will it be staffed?
What's that?
Will it be staffed?
So I'm not Columbus Parks and Recreation. That's something that they will be deciding. We're just the engineer and design consultant for the park. So I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer that question. The maintenance team of Columbus Parks and Rec has looked at our plans, given us feedback. So throughout each course of the project, our deliverables, to get to this point, we've had their maintenance look at it and give us feedback. So they will be out there. Thank you. That's about all I can say.
Is there a reason why there's no access from Gender Road, or there's no sidewalks with this proposed development along Gender Road? Because eventually we're going to have shared use paths along Gender Road, and so considering the entrance into Burning Lake has no real pedestrian infrastructure on either side of that road going in, this primarily means either, and I'm just putting this out because I know you're not Parks and Rec. That leaves primarily just residents either walking on the road or requiring automobile access to the road.
Out of the picture here, there's pedestrian connection to housing up here via these trails that are in Pickerington Metro Park, so it's not directly along the road. There's access up here, and to that point, there's it's more or less a steep grade here, so it was easier to route the road without having to do significant grading from here because it's pretty hilly in this area.
Right.
So we're along the creek here, so it's pretty flat. Also, this property did not get annexed into the city of Columbus as was originally planned.
So is that sliver technically not city property?
What's that?
Is that sliver there technically not city property?
So this is the partial boundary. So it's the right of way right here. I believe that city property completely surrounds the parcel. The parcel itself is not.
Okay, so that,
So you're saying the part along the road doesn't belong to the city, it belongs to Madison Township?
no, it's right away. But even if it's right away, it still have to pose a question to them on
Why they don't have to follow the rules that they make everybody else
Correct.
follow, that develop along a right of way to be forced to put in a sidewalk on that right of way.
correct.
And we want to push that. We definitely will make an issue of that because we are trying to get sidewalks all up and down Gender. We know that there's a Gender Road widening project. And unless there is a plan right away to put in the sidewalks with the Gender Road widening project going from Refugee all the way to Winchester Boulevard, Winchester Pike, they're supposed to be, anytime someone puts development up and down Gender Road, they're supposed to put in sidewalks. And then that is supposed to help the city in the future be able to go from from the 3 lanes to the necessary lanes that they would have to do to get a 4-lane road down through there. But since this is the city, maybe that's the reason why they're not doing it, because the city would be paying for it twice.
Well, that would be a question for them.
Yeah.
Are they preparing to do something that they don't want to have to take up the sidewalk? But other than that, it's for the city a two-faced development when it comes to that rule.
I see you're making everything ADA. What about the playground? Are you going to have like a wheelchair swing or something for the kids who are in wheelchairs? We
Yeah,
have several children out here that's in wheelchairs.
Yes, we have a accessible spinner right here. We've got accessible rocker and tire swing. I believe most or all of the main play structure and ages 2 to 5 play structure are accessible as well. There's accessible concrete ramp into the playground. Per guidelines, we need to have playgrounds curved, but we do have a concrete accessible ramp.
Well, I was talking about like the swings they make where they can wheel their wheelchair right up. It hooks right up onto the
yes.
wheelchair.
There's it's First Freedom Swing. I believe that's the final product that's going to be in there, but if it's not them, it's an equal equivalent. We can put ADA swing there.
Because I know there's nowhere around here for those children.
What is number 5?
This golf course, that's
Oh, okay.
this kind of. Yeah, I realize it's probably. Yeah. I realize it's difficult to see some of the line work.
So that frisbee golf.
Yeah.
It's very nice. I like the one at Cooper Park.
Is there sensory for kids with sensory concerns? Anything sensory in the playground or on the premises? I don't remember if they went with that or not. I can't remember.
So we yeah. So we originally had some more of that in the original concepts, but due to budget constraints, not everything in the concepts made it to the plans. We do have the playground separated out so that you're not constantly having big kids running around and cutting through the areas of where smaller kids are. So minimizing kind of conflicts within the playground, grouping together the 5 through 12 play, 2 to 5.
Lynn has a question.
Yeah, I have two quick questions. Number one, will you be contacting the city about
I've got Michelle's contact. I'm the one who reached out so they would come.
Okay.
I can just reach right back out to her with those questions.
And secondly, you know what apartment complex looks past you going through.
Abbey Trails.
Abby.
They go to Abbey Trails, but they also go down to, they will eventually, well, they're already connected to the ones that are on the south side of the entrance that just got built. Those have a trail too going to those. So mainly when you reach out to her, my big concern is there's a ranger going in and out of there a lot. That's staff for the metro side. And they have the shelter house, which is managed, it's rented or it's reserved usually. I don't think it's a first come, first serve. I think it's reserved, but I'll double check on that. I'm pretty sure it's reserved. And so my question would be, are we going to manage ours? Is there going to be a reservation for the shelter house, or is it first come, first serve?
That's a question that Columbus Parks and Rec will have to answer.
The reason why I ask is usually they put that stuff, and I didn't think it was a city question only because they with planning the park, that seems to be like it would be part of the plan because they have to add that to their list of other things that they reserve. And if there was any plan to have it reserved, it seems to me like they would do that at the time that they open it to say this needs to be on that list. So I'm just asking so that there's no confusion. Is there going to be reservations managed for the pickleball, reservations for the basketball, anything like that? If people say, hey, I want to get 20 guys together and have pickup basketball and use both courts, can they be reserved or is it first come? How are they going to manage the park as a whole so that, they don't have people getting bent out of shape if they can't utilize the park or if they constantly come and it's never available to them. So I just didn't know if it starts getting a lot of use, is some of that going to be reserved or is it reservable for certain times?
Well, we have to pull in.
So if we could ask that question.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think generally, we were designing for more recreational versus like to be, a huge tournament host for the amenities.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say I wasn't, our team wasn't like, okay, the number one use of these premises is like large, very structured official tournaments. More so just recreation.
You're gonna have permission to speak, Chair. You're gonna have a lot of people piling in there. So whether you plan what you plan for and what you don't, it's gonna be two different things because the east side is really struggling to have places that the youth can participate in activities, and every time a park is created like this, number one, I would want it on the record that I do want to find out about these sidewalks. Gender Road is extremely dangerous, and there are going to be youth and elderly people trying to access that park from up there on the gravel road off of Gender. Trying to walk to get to this location. Gender Road has the most accidents. I live in Abbey Trails off of Long Road. That's where my house is. If not a day go by that I don't see an accident up there at Long and Gender. And there are people that are trying to walk to get to the grocery stores or get from one apartment to the next. And when you get ready to put this park here, you have kids crawling from every direction. Even if you feel that your intention is for it to be leisure, that you have a basketball court, those young youth are going to come over there and it's going to be. So I would encourage you to do a study to see just how many youth and like parents with single moms or any of that type of demographic is in the area so that you could get a true delta on what traffic this park is going to get and you could think realistically about the engineering of it, which you guys have under your umbrella.
I mean, most of the stuff that you're presenting tonight is things that you discussed and showed us before, which I thought the sidewalk was in there initially. And so that concerns me because just south of there are so many apartments. I mean, we've been approving, and a lot are still coming in across the street from there. They're building more homes. So right down Shannon, they're building more homes. So the fact that you'll have more kids walking, we already have kids in the summertime that ride their bikes, even adults that ride their bike down Gender, and it's dangerous riding your bike down Gender. So the more sidewalks we can put in, the more we can get people off the road and onto a sidewalk to ride their bikes down there until they put in bike lanes. Because, like I said, there's a lot of apartments south of there too that people ride their bikes to. I've even rode my bike from my house to there, and it's probably like a mile and a half. So there's a lot of people who ride their bikes up and down Gender.
I would encourage you to get in your car and get out on Gender and walk over there and see what that might feel like for just anyone in the area to might try to walk to that and then get a feel of how you might feel what is best as far as that Gender Road.
Coming from Winchester Pike or coming from Abbey Trails.
Right.
So
Because we have young business professionals that like to jog and would be interested in accessing this park, and we don't want anybody getting into a terrible situation off Gender.
And there are a lot of bus stops up and down Gender too. So, you'll have a lot of people, they might catch the bus over there. I don't know, but there are a lot of bus stops up and down Gender
I've been
too.
trying to get those shelters like Columbus has for just for Gender, so that it's safe for people to stand and wait for a bus there along Gender Road.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I only have one. When they had you go to the drawing board to design this, did they? I know there's budget constraints, but ultimately, did they have you design this in a way for potential expansion, or with the intent to add a couple things or additional things down the road? Because, like they mentioned, just to give you numbers, a quarter mile down Shannon Road is well over going to be 1,500 to 2,000 people that are coming online in the next 2 to 5 years. So by the time this comes online with construction, you're looking at a couple hundred additional people. I mean, right now we have over 5,000 units in process of being built, and 350 acres just went on the market, which means that we're going to have more units. Literally just a quarter mile from this, the other 350 acres. So when they did have you go to the drawing board for that, did they have that intent in there for potential expansion, that maybe we might add some sensory stuff down the road? Because I know I do see there's a lot of green space on the outskirts, but I don't know if that was purposely intentional, just for field management or anything along those lines.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess I'll say to this on the sidewalk, like our parcel within this boundary, a public sidewalk would be public right of way,
right,
in the city project. So that's that's out of the scope of what we were doing here. I would say though, this is Pickerington Ponds property north, Metro Park, I should say, Franklin County Metro Park's property. There is potential, I think. Nothing in the works, but I don't see why there isn't potential to connect to Gender Road, across Gender Road. But like in this plan, we've connected to the Metro Park, and there is green open space here. We did throw in, like, to illustrate, it's not in the plans, but we can program this area here with activities or temporary or permanent structures in the future that would have to be decided upon by
That's where the rec center is going to go, right?
I
see that green space back there.
Yeah.
That all that whole green space going up to Gender
I
Road.
see that more as amphitheater real estate.
Hey, I was thinking that a few minutes ago.
That would be great too.
Yeah, so that's for the recreation parks permit to figure out what's in their budget.
Okay, I was just
Kate, you have a question?
Sure.
Thank you, Chair. So, my name is Kate. I live on the Near East Side, but when I look at this kind of planning, I guess I just have questions about, because you really should have it, I think, where you connect the sidewalk to the trail that's gonna go around. Because if you wanna have it be accessible for the people who are gonna have disabled children or individuals using the park, that means that you're making this so it's segregated for people who have car access. And otherwise, you just should plan on them digging a big, messy, muddy hole pathway from Gender Road to your bike pathway and go around the park. And it's going to destroy what you're trying to build there. And I just don't think that that really favors that. And on top of that, like, what kind of services do you have there? Because we know that the things that have been put in at Franklin Park Conservatory that were billed as being helpful for people who had wheelchairs or not. So what kind of service structures do you have there that are useful for people with wheelchairs so that it is actually accessible, right? Like what kind of impermeable, like covering for the playground or whatever else that you can actually bring a person with a wheelchair out into the structures so that they can actually play and enjoy the space together. So those are the kinds of things that I'm curious about, but like if you're going to make this actually accessible to the general public, then you need to be planful and do it now so that you have a pathway that gets them to the bike, to that bike wraparound, and then gets them safely off of Gender Road. Because otherwise you're just excluding people. And I don't think that that's the message that we want with this kind of park. If you want this to be a beautiful thing, we want this to be accessible to everyone, not exclusionary. And this screams exclusionary because it makes it so only people who can get there really are people in cars. And that's not everyone out there.
That's currently how people get there today.
Exactly.
The Metro Park is, like, that's right there. The Metro Park is right down here, right next to it. And that road that's going up through there goes back down and goes to Gender Road. And the entrance is cars. It's a three-way stop right now. It's a four-way stop going into there now. And so you're up here, the Metro Park's right here, and you come in off of Gender, but it's a drive in. But you can ride your bike at your own risk. Like I said, people do ride their bikes, but it's not something that you want teenagers walking up and down Gender Road going to the park. It's not. It would be dangerous.
You want to be building for safety, and especially with all of the plans that are coming out here for more people living here. This is future forward. What do you want this park to be used for? It's not right in this moment. It's what this park is going to be for the next 25 years. More people out here using it. Pedestrian usage. So build towards that.
Yes. I mean, I would love to see a sidewalk here. If the, sidewalk goes in here, I would really want and expect there to be a short range. But yeah, I am unaware of concrete plans to build a sidewalk there, and I think if we built out here in anticipation for that, there's no guarantees. There's the real estate's there, but we have to, there to be specific grading here.
So, Chair, who's responsible if someone should get hurt on that property land on that east area?
It's city easement.
What I would like to see.
But we'll just have to wait and see what they say when Mark calls the city, because I don't want to take up too much more time with this.
Right, but I would like to see if you know how Blackwood Park has their nature center, something to the forward of that where people can come right off with the entrance off Gender Road and maybe over to one of the sides you have like that nature area where people can come to get, like autism or need sensory things, could come to like a butterfly house or some sort of nature center like Blackwood, because my kids go over there and they see the deer and they can talk to a ranger. So something like that with the entrance coming off here and connected to the park might be a good song.
I thought they were going to use that little piece right there where you can. I'm sorry. Huh?
Sir, you were right. After you finish talking.
Right. I just had an addition for the. I was just looking at the GPS, like the satellite map for the area, and I saw that there was already like something of a desire path, like leading off of Gender. Like there's
access.
I was just gonna say, I mean, y'all already basically.
That little piece right there, it goes whoop like this, down like this. So that's not. I thought they were going to dig it out and make it a access to the park. And I also thought they were going to remove most of those trees because I was just telling her today as we drove past it. See all that litter? That litter is a mess. That's one of the pickup areas that we need to attack is this area right here. And that was right in front of that park area. And I thought, can't wait till we get that park because I know they'll probably clear this brush and clear that out. But you guys have no plans on that, huh?
We don't.
No, I think it's a conversation with Michelle.
I think so. Yeah.
Because you can't even see the park from there. I thought they were going to get rid of that hill when they put the park in,
Right.
is level that down and get rid of that hill.
Yeah, because that was my thought too, because they were gonna. I mean, why would you not want to have access off the main traffic thoroughfare rather than building off Metro Park? And just to kind of give an image of Metro Park, they put no sidewalks in, but they put a sign on their property that says you need to use sidewalks that don't exist. I kid you not. It says use the sidewalks. Don't cross the street. There's no sidewalk. And it's because there's bus stops there. But I think it's a conversation with Michelle because I think, I mean, I like that it's coming. I like what you've done with the place. I think there is a lot of thought into it and a lot of versatility. I just think those finite things with accessibility and pedestrian safety and that forward thinking, because Metro Park just slaps some cement on the road and says, here, come in, walk our nature trails and sit at a shelter and look at some grass grow. Whereas the city park is coming in and saying, hey, we're providing recreation, we're providing all this versatility for all these different people. And then they don't, through their contract with you, don't how you meet all these additional things that they harp on everyone else about in the design phase. So I appreciate it. I really do. This has been very informative.
I appreciate it too. And I want to make sure that we just don't get something thrown up together. I know you guys have put a lot of effort into this. So when my kids go to Sycamore Park over at Pickerington, then they're going to have an experience. They enjoy to go get in the water and go to the park and climb on the exercise jungle gym looking stuff. When they go to Black Lake Park, they know the things that they can do to enjoy. So each area around us has some things that they can be proud in that draws the communities that connect us together. So when we're looking at this, we want care and we want a place where we can take pride. And having thoughtful things like she mentioned, having stuff for everybody to be able to access is only going to be a good way forward. So just keep those things in mind and also go on the grounds and experience how, you might get there on foot or what it's like in that area for yourself.
Who is over Parks and Recs?
I can't remember who the new person is since Tony left.
Okay. Well, that'll be one thing that we would like to find out is, so whoever's over Parks and Recs, the suggestions that we're making, we would like to meet with them and get their plan for operational. How is this going to look? Because they need to have programming, different types of processes, rules, signage, when people can be in the park, what are the rules that people can utilize the pickleball under, because most pickleball courts have a strict schedule for you utilizing them. And then the basketball, is it going to be fenced all the way around? Things like, is it going to be locked up at night? How are we going to ensure that people aren't over there using it after hours, because you're going to be sharing the entrance with the Metro Park and they shut down at dusk. So we just want to make sure that there's going to be somebody managing the park and how that looks. So we want to get some type of meeting with them once you guys start, working on this. We'd like to make sure those processes are in place.
Yeah, I suggest that the commission put down whatever inquiries they have.
We got it. We have it. Yes.
And I think that you or you have email.
Well, I kind of would like to work through them because they're the project and they know the schedule, and I would like for them to coordinate a meeting with them, as you guys are working through it, because I just see that whoever is going to be assigned as during your project schedule, like when you guys are about to implement or right before you. So us just reaching out to them isn't gonna. We don't know who's working on the park yet, so there's no reason for us to do all that yet. We got their information, so Mark's gonna we'll get all of our questions to you. I just want to make sure that we're discussing it in front of you now. Definitely.
No, I definitely appreciate having the questions and follow up. That would be that's great to bring up.
Well, thank you, Ethan. Ethan, thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys coming out and giving us this overview. It's going to be a nice opportunity and a nice park once everything's done. So.
Diana, you weren't going to ask anything about that retention pond?
No, but I'd like to see them give lessons on these people how to use them sidewalks. Because twice now you got this guy, and I'm being nice now, not while I'm driving, but he's driving one of them battery operated wheelchairs down Refugee Road instead of on the path, and the poor coda bus, he's creeping so he don't run into it, and we're all stuck behind there. And he does it all the time, and there's a shared pathway for him to ride that thing clear down where he's going.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He refuses to use the 10-foot wide shared use path and drives on the road.
Yeah.
Because he says he has a motorized vehicle with no license plate.
It just needs the yellow triangle. That's all.
All right. Anything else?
No, I'd love to leave you with my card.
Yes,
So you have
please.
my contact.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. And then I'll CC you on it, include you on it, because I'm sure Michelle's going to want to know what we talk about too. But no,
You got another? What's your schedule like? When's this going to kick off? When are they doing the groundbreaking?
You know anything about that? I don't.
We have like administrative things, like construction things to discuss with the Brecken Parks, and then dealing with choosing a contractor, and then getting, contracts in place, and it'll be some time. We were able to go out to bid before, Franklin County had signed everything. We were just able to do that. So we have some coordination with engineer, but got a lot of green lights, but a couple things happened. So
I think between us and Michelle, the city of Columbus, I think we're dangerous enough to get something.
We'd like to have an official groundbreaking. I think we should do that so we can bring some
this
attention
would
to
be
it.
like the
I wouldn't
first
worry about it.
major park in this part
Yeah.
of the city.
Yeah, we'd like to have an official groundbreaking, include our, some of
I'd
the
like to put a
people
show
and
on there.
the commissions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We could set something up. That would be really great.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
We really appreciate all the questions and feedback. It all makes total sense, and we agree with everything. So hopefully we can communicate.
Yeah.
Get some things answered.
I'll send something in a couple days, and then hopefully I'll include you on it, and then we can start those things.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for coming out.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Neighborhood update. You're in the neighborhood update, Chair. She's not in there.
We have another acknowledgement tonight. So we have Kate here who wanted to speak. We're going to give you a 3-minute time frame, please.
Thank you, Chair.
And I want to say that the Greater Southeast Area Commission does not endorse any candidates for election.
All right, good evening. My name is Kate Souza. I am the former chair of the Near East Area Commission, so many of you may have met me from that. I am now currently running for City Council for District 7. And so while that is not your district, it is a citywide race, and I wanted to make sure that you knew that I was running. And why I'm running is because, one, I was asked by my neighbors and folks because we're looking for more representation on City Council. I'm sure that you understand the frustration that can happen when we're asking for support with projects and with things that are happening within our city, and sometimes we're asking for that support and then it just kind of doesn't go very far. So my neighbors have been very frustrated with that, and so I'm running this independent candidate for city council. It is a nonpartisan race, but I'm running as an independent, progressive, but independent. And so that is because we want my neighbors, when they put their name on my coordinating committee, was so that I will be accountable to them and to you. And so some of the things that I have vision for with this run is so that when we think about Columbus Promise, what does that look like? Why is it that just we're all putting money into this as Columbus taxpayers, but it's just for Columbus City Schools students? What are the opportunities that we can be looking and doing more for students that are part of the win-win, that are some on outskirts of town, that are going to other school districts? Are there other opportunities there, right? We have, Columbus has stretched out into other areas that are really far, where there's no two suburbs shall touch, but I think that we've looked, it gave me some perspective when I was chair and was on the commission, to realize that there are really some opportunities that GSEAC has on the Unity Area Commission, because we have lots of places to meet, but there are other suburbs or other areas towards the suburbs that just don't have those same opportunities. And so looking at what do we have that's available? Columbus is stretched into areas and they don't have the support for residents. You don't have the parks, you don't have the fire, you don't have some of the support from city services. And so as a city council member, I want to make sure that you are getting access to those services, because it's important for residents to have sidewalks, to have access to educational opportunities, to have access for youth to be able to go to recreation centers and have meaningful things to be able to be doing in the after school times and during summer programming, because that's important for their education, but also for adults to be able to go to work and know that you have safe places for your kids to go. And for adults, if you're older and you want some places for your senior parents to be able to go, what activities do we have for them? Fran Ryan can't be our only opportunity for older adults, right? Like that can't be the only opportunity. So I think that there's just a lot of opportunities to do more with what we have. We're never going to have an extra time or money or excess capacity, but we can do more with what we have. We can do more cooperating between our organizations. We can communicate better. When you put in a 311 report, don't just close it. Tell me why you're closing it. If it means because it's a duplicate ticket, then tell me that. And then tell me what the prognosis about when it's going to get fixed. I want to know when my Amazon delivery is getting delivered to me. I want to know when the pothole in front of my house is getting fixed. We can do more with what we have. We have the apps. We have the ability to communicate. We have the ability to ensure that our departments are communicating better and are not so siloed. This is better for all of our residents. So my vision is really just to ensure that we're doing the most that we can for residents. It doesn't always have to cost so much money. It doesn't mean we need to have experts coming in from out of town and we're paying them $250,000 to tell us how to run our city better. Right here at this table, these two tables are subject matter experts. Every month you spend your time volunteering to help make our city great. There's 21 other commissions that are just like you that are trying to do the same thing. We need to bring you to the table. We need to give commissions teeth. We need to give you the ability to help lead our city better. And we need to stop keeping you from doing what you do best. We need to start investing in you and giving you more opportunities to help lead our city forward. So my name is Kate. Kate. Please look for me on the District 7 primary, which is on May 6th. If you have questions, I have material, but I appreciate the opportunity in this non-endorsed space to be able to present to you that I'm legal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I don't know what your role is.
I'm with the zoning. Festus Manley Spain is actually on the end of the thanks a lot.
Oh, okay, so you're going to be speaking down at the zoning part, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. No. The next thing on the agenda is the neighborhood update. Officer Myers may be here a little bit later, but he's not here right now. He had something else he was working on. From the city attorney's office, Sophie, how are you today?
Good. How are you all?
Okay. Would you like to give us a report?
Yes, I have two updates. One, Officer Meyer asked that if he wasn't able to make it here on time, that I talk about the homeless camp off of Chantry and near Bryce Road. That camp, as far as code enforcement is able to tell, and from what I've heard from police, that camp has been remediated. So by that I mean the individuals who were living in that encampment have relocated.
This is the one behind the old Target.
Yeah. Police were getting a lot of reports. Community was reporting pretty frequently that individuals who were living on that property were committing crimes in the neighborhoods and going back to that camp. When I talked to the owners of the property a couple months ago, they basically said, we've been letting people live on this property for years and years. For a very long time, they weren't a problem. They were, not a problem to the neighborhood, whatever. And in the past couple of years, that demographic has changed. The attitude of the people has changed, and we're no longer in a place to continue to acquiesce to this kind of behavior. So they signed a trespass authorization, which has been effective in helping CPD get problem individuals off that land and relocate people elsewhere. Obviously, as the city does at any homeless camp, services were offered to those who wanted to take advantage of those. I don't have any information on who all chose which path. But with all that said, the area is not cleaned up. The city of Columbus won't do that at this point because it is on private property and it is the property owner's responsibility to do that. If I need to get a court order that allows us to go onto the property and do that, I'm in the process of doing that right now. We were hoping to be able to work through that with the property owner.
Is that Weber?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Weber. So the hope is still to get them to take care of it.
He's cleaned it up twice.
Yeah, we're hoping that, with people being off the property now, with it gaining the reputation of you're not to come back, this is not a place for people to stay, and potentially with putting in some other precautions on the property to deter that activity in the future, this would be the last time that you would have to do a substantial cleanup of the property. But it is necessary. It looks really bad over there.
Oh, it's terrible.
And that's just going to attract more, whatever. So, we're working on that. We have another court date in a couple months to address those.
Did you get them out from behind the oxygen? I think it's oxygen place. One down, past the shop center, because they were back in behind them too.
There have been a couple of homeless camps on the east side recently that have been referred to our homeless camp teams. They really only get to my desk if code has exhausted their remedies, the homeless camp teams have exhausted their remedies. So I try not to interfere with that until, there are an additional layer of criminal issues. And those camps have not had, to my knowledge, the same level of criminal interactions that this camp specifically did. So until I hear from code enforcement or the homeless encampment team that this needs to be a court case, I'm going to leave that to them. But I do know that multiple camps on the site are on their radar.
And Commissioner Bunting, I agree, it was multiple times that it was cleaned up. I think the city put in about $40,000 to clean up the property.
Yeah, I'm the one that called Channel 10 too.
Yeah, I know the city. I believe that the money that was put in there that the city did was a neighboring property that was owned by the city, not private property. That's my update on the homeless camps. A quick update on Life at Edgewater Landing as well. So as of the end of February, almost every person who was living on the camp, living at Edgewater Landing in the units that were affected by or serviced by a boiler system have been relocated. Each of the tenants has been working with the City of Columbus's relocation team, as well as relocation specialists. Pretty much every service has been offered to them to make sure people get moved effectively. Moving services were offered to individuals over a certain age or with disabilities. And then each resident, basically, as you handed in your keys, you received a check for an amount of money that was determined by a math equation of a certain amount of money starting out, and then a little bit was subtracted each day for the amount that they were staying in hotels that the city covered. But everybody was able to leave with at least a little bit of money to get them started somewhere else, or they were able to take that credit and apply it to a different unit in that complex. There weren't a ton of units available in the complex that allowed for that, but I knew the apartment complex was trying to accommodate as many people as they could. As far as I know, there are only 2 individuals left in those units. One of them has some kind of extenuating circumstances and is actively trying to move to a different place. It's been very cooperative with code enforcement, management, whatever. The other individual has not. And so it appears as though the apartment complex will be seeking an eviction against that one tenant, but I can't stress enough, so many resources have been poured into this. The city does not want to encourage people to be evicting people. However, we understand that sometimes in circumstances where people are not working towards the same goal, it is inevitable. So it's an unfortunate side effect of this. But we are aware that most of the people the vast majority of people who are affected by this are now in different, more stable units. So that's a win. And as far as we know, the property is still set to be sold. I think towards the end of next month is when it should transfer ownership, as long as the sale goes well. And then we'll
What date was that?
We don't have an official date. Originally, it was April 1st, and then there were some hiccups, whatever, with closing. And I think it's supposed to be done before the end of April. But they're buying Life at Edgewater Landing and Commons at Water's Edge, so they'll have that whole strip. They will still be operated as 2 different apartment complexes, and they have millions of dollars set aside for capital improvement that will work with the new owners on, specifically at Life at Edgewater Landing, what we need to see their priorities be. So part of that includes completely replacing the boiler system, whether that's putting in a new boiler or finding a new way to heat units. That's to be determined. But we at least have people out of the dangerous units. That's my update.
I got one for you. Bryce Park, because that's where the city cleaned up the last time, was over there behind Bryce Park. He has hired a security. He has security driving around there almost now 24 hours a day. So there shouldn't be no more problems over there.
Anything else? Thank you. Our next on the agenda is Shanika. Do you have a report?
Yeah, just 3 quick FYIs. Rise Up Sleep Up is having their first event. It's going to be April 17th. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, the wrong one. April 17th at Spring Hill Baptist Church. That's on 2000 East 17th Avenue. So we hope that all of you guys are able to join us. Along with that, on the 27th, we have at 6 o'clock at City Council, we have our Women's History Month 2025 event.
Is that March 27th?
Yeah.
April 27th?
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I'm sorry. I was looking at that wrong. That is March 27th. Thank you. My apologies. Wrong one.
And what is that called again?
Huh?
What is that called again?
That one was March 27th. It was called Women's History Month 2025, and the title they used was a woman's work. And that is.
And where's that at?
That was at City Council. And those are the only updates that we have from.
So let me make sure I have that right. During the city council meeting on that Monday, 327 is their city council meeting. They're going to have recognition of Women's History Month, and it'll be the topic that you mentioned. Is that what you're saying?
No. So that passed. That was March 27th. I'm sorry. I was looking at our communications director's update, and I was looking at the wrong date, but that was March 27th. That was at 6 p.m. And that was.
March 27th hasn't passed.
It's on Thursday.
Wait, you guys, what's today? Today is the
25th.
25th.
Okay, thank you. March 27th, 6 p.m., Women's History Month 2025, a woman's work.
And where is that at?
City
It,
Council.
You guys, I am all over the place. My apologies. My head is still at the other event that we're trying to coordinate. So I was late. My apologies. No, it's not. Okay. March 27th, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Strong Water Food and Spirits, 401 West Town Street.
That's what Rosa de Padilla is putting on.
Yes, it is. And I can forward you via email. There is an RSVP list. They're asking people to register. They realize that not everyone can, but they're asking you to register. So I can forward you guys the registration list.
Yes, please.
And then the other one was, okay, so the 4th annual Cleaner Columbus citywide cleanup. That's with Councilmember Remy. He's having that in partnership with Keep Columbus Beautiful. It's going to be on Saturday, April 5th at 9 a.m. It's going to be over at Goodale Park Steakhouse. And they too have a registration link, but it's open to everyone, residents, businesses, organizations. So if you guys want to come and participate, to remove the litter, and improve our city, make it look good, that would be great. We welcome you. Those are the 3.
Keep Columbus Beautiful doesn't offer their plaque anymore.
Sorry.
I was just thinking that Keep Columbus Beautiful doesn't offer their plaque from the city anymore. They used to do plaques for anyone who worked on the Keep Columbus Beautiful project.
It might be because we've got so many people. Ridiculous. And I'm ridiculous as
Cool. For the Keep Columbus Beautiful thing, I'm assuming all the supplies are provided, but that event is only for those specific places that they've listed on the registration. They have pre-select locations through the city. So if someone wanted to participate, they can only participate by cleaning up those locations.
if they want to partner with us.
Okay.
We welcome them to do it on their own if they apply.
Well, see, we were interested in it, but we weren't for sure if it's just show up, you grab supplies, return supplies, because we've got several major corridors outside of internal I-270 where most of it is at.
Where is that? I want to write that down so that you know.
Like major corridors for cleaning?
The areas that you're saying that need it, but we aren't there.
Oh, so basically our major corridors. So Hamilton Road, you're looking at Refugee and Chatterton, Gender Road.
No Bixby.
No Bixby. And then down at the edge where Winchester Pike both connects to Hamilton and Gender. Those are heavily trafficked and traveled areas that have tons of trash.
What's the last one you said?
Winchester Pike.
And Hamilton.
That's the Hamilton Road, Refugee, and Chatterton. No Bixby, Winchester. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think like doing those events, if you take it back to City Council, I think going forward, and I hope that Remy would be understanding of this, given his experience on the Northland Council. Maybe going forward, we take in some input from area commissions on some high traffic areas throughout the entire city.
Okay.
So that way we can actually clean the entire city. If
I
you get
will,
my drift.
I will say that I registered us, and I did the other, and I added in the areas out here that we want to do. But I still have to get with you guys to see if you guys can take one of those areas and get people to come to that area. Like Peaches lives along Abbey Trail, that she can go to those
Right.
apartments over
But
there.
with supplies, we will have to
Right.
make our own supplies. We can't really partner with them because they
No,
have the pre-selected.
He said that it said there's an other box on that list, and if you pick the other box and tell them what you're going to do, where your other is, you still can come. You still can go down there and get supplies for the area that
Then
you're
I
going
need
to
to
do.
put that on the registration form because
Yeah.
it doesn't say that.
Yeah, it just says other. So you still have to go down there and get what you need for the other area that you're doing. But other is allowed.
No. Well, still, I like my idea because then you can just get rid of the other.
So what I put on here is that to make sure that they put on the registration form that they will provide supplies for other areas. You guys can certainly areas.
Yeah, because that's an easy update they can do right now. But going forward, I would still like the input from area commissions and community councils because then we can really get the entire city with the pre-selected location. So if residents are actually going on and signing up without us even knowing because they just see it from the city sites, there are actually locations in their area that they can pre-select.
That's a good idea, Commissioner Harper. I just want to add one thing. I heard from 311 that today that city crews were going along no big speed picking up trash. Either this week or last week.
They've been getting out and doing different areas.
I was just down there Bixby and no one stepped nothing.
Yeah, they've been getting out and doing different areas. It just is sporadic, like where they're going. But I've been seeing them in different areas. But I did ask for multiple different locations up and down Gender. I asked for places on Chatterton, Refugee, Bryce Road, and Bryce Road out by you, not Bryce Road on the far east side. And then I think I asked for Abbey Trails and Winchester up in that area, up around Winchester Lakes in that area. But they don't do. I think the city doesn't do private places like easements on private property. They don't do easements on private property, but they will do the busy streets, the busy areas. So I'm hoping that they'll do along that area where they're putting that park because that is kind of a city area. That they'll do that area. But I did notice that they did between Refugee and Old Bryce Road by the Speedway. I noticed that was a lot cleaner. I mean, they didn't get it really perfect, but it's a lot cleaner than it normally is.
So I'm going to give them a list so that they can have this moving forward. I'm going to make sure that I got all of it. So the main three things were basically getting input from the area commissions when they're selecting and choosing where to go. And then also putting on the registration form that they will provide supplies so that it can be clear for residents and community members. And then potential other areas for them to consider would be Hamilton, the Refugee, near Chatterton, No Bixby, Winchester Pike, and Winchester Lake, Gender Road, Bryce Road, and Abbey Trail. Is that correct? Okay, got it. I will let them know.
Thank you.
I would like to make sure that people who are doing that Make Columbus Beautiful are getting some kind of recognition, whether it be an email or something, because I just had to get a proclamation for the Columbus chapter area Blacks of Government, who it's still, I don't know if it does now, but at the time still said that they were giving the plaques out for whoever completed that program. So I just want to make sure that some kind of recognition, because I went all the way up to the mayor and got them a proclamation for that because they did clean up several bags. So they've asked me to ensure that, going forward, that there is something that they can show their community, whoever, like us, or something we can display different areas who participate, proof that they did what they said they were going to do in their community.
Okay. I will add that on there.
Thank you, Connie.
That's it for me.
Thank you. Lynn, you're next. You're next.
Okay. And this is going to be my mantra here. April 16th, Day of the City is Rest. It's important that we just populate this with our three commissions possible. It just bring as many people out as possible. Also, this is an opportunity if there are particular questions that you have. Everybody in administration and city council will be there, and it's an opportunity for you to introduce yourself and talk about maybe some things like CTV or so.
Where will it be?
at Fort Hays High School. And I thought I sent out, but maybe not.
I might not have seen my email yet. Say that it hasn't been sent out.
Also, I know that there were inquiries, and in particular, Commissioner Barnes about Mid-Ohio as we get notification of increased federal funding for food banks. I sent the commission chairs today a interview from Brad Draper of Mid-Ohio Food Collective. There was a food bank that was being closed, and he was talking about that closure and what Mid-Ohio Food Bank. It didn't sound like they were folding or anything like that, and I know that's important for all of us, because we're moving in their building. But please send that to your fellow commissioners.
In front of the
Oh,
camera.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I know, we gotta get used to it.
And I will check on the Bixby commissioner budget, but that's what I heard.
So we don't know how that's affecting the Mid-Ohio Food Directive yet, as far as the new renovation.
The whole article, media piece was this food bank on Carl Road was closing based on the roaring of food bank
Participants?
not participants,
Oh,
but money going.
Yeah.
Oh, money.
And Brad Draper of the Mid-Ohio Food Collective said that he did not want that food bank to close, that they were doing some things, that they were going to be back, they were going to be as supportive as they have been in the past, but they are making some certain structural changes. It's a media piece that it would be nice to share. Doesn't mean that we can't discuss it further. I put it in my report to our director, and we make it official. So please look at that video.
Okay.
I will send you something on 811, which is digging month, to talk about the how to be safe in digging in areas where there are underground utilities. And so you can send that out to your residents. Is there anything that you want of me? Oh, also Officer Myers is on the south side. And with one of the commissions, he's going to try to make it back, but he did give Sophie information that she's on the way. Anything that I have to do, I know Commissioner Calhoun, I know he's something to do.
And I need a block watch date, meeting date.
And I got to do more, I got to get the block watch. I will come up with several block watch dates for April. Thank you.
Mr. Barnes, can I add on to what she said for, I pulled up the city address, just so you guys will know, the 2025 state of the city address, it's Wednesday, April 16th at 6 o'clock p.m., Fort Hays Academic School, and they have a website, but this is a short one, so I can actually give it to you. It's www.columbus.gov/SOTC. S as in Sam, O, T as in Tom, C.
State of the city.
And please get that on Facebook. So
Oh, that's a registration.
Yeah, they would like for you to register to save your seat.
Okay. Great.
Will we have to register for ours or?
yeah, it's
Yes.
good to. It's good to
Yes, she said everybody needs to register.
And just make sure we can.
It'll be sent out on the email because that's the easiest way to click on it. And
I thought I had sent it out, but if not, I will also send it again.
I believe the mayor's office sent it out.
yeah, somebody sent it out. I saw it in my
Yeah, I saw it.
I've already signed up
I'll have
I saw
weeks ago. I just need to know what exact file Pedro needs so we can do business cards.
Okay, I have emailed him, and I will connect you guys tomorrow. There was one other thing I forgot. Oh, your budget.
I didn't.
Here.
Got it.
Here. Oh, I will get that to him. He's been communicating with me, but we'll make sure you two communicate. Also, once again, from our budget hearing last Saturday, just want to reiterate that April 10th is the deadline to get all your money, your what do you call it, Mark, your bills, paid by the
April
card.
10th is the deadline for the P card because of ensuring that the transaction is posted on this billing cycle, so it does not take away from next year's budget when they reconcile their P card charges with their financial reports.
Thank you, Mark. And May 1st is the next drawdown. Thank you.
Did you get the receipt for Shred Day? I sent it to you. I want to make sure you got it, so it goes into the bucket for this drawdown before you've got it. It's before April 10th.
Okay. So,
I sent it to you.
So if you send it to me, you and I have to get up and get a date and time to use the coupon.
No, we already remember.
Well,
Remember, I came in and I bought it. She
then
sent me the receipt, and I sent it to you. I want to make sure you got it. Can you acknowledge that you got it so I can make sure that? Okay.
I thought we talked about.
No, I mean, can you reply received so that I know that you got it?
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. And I think we need to find out from our. I don't know if you have any. Well, we're going to get to that in just a second, and we'll get on down to the different reports in just a second. The next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from 2/25/25. Does anybody have any questions about the minutes?
I don't think anyone received them.
I did send them out.
I didn't get them.
I thought I saw them. I read them. What did I read?
You did.
Did you guys read this?
I read them.
Yeah, I saw them. I know I read some minutes. I want to make sure that they were the 2/25.
Right. They are.
My brain is
I
full.
sent them out like twice. Remember, I sent
I'll
confirmation.
make a motion to approve them.
I don't know if I can second my own.
I'll second.
All.
All in favor of approving the minutes for 2/25?
Aye.
Opposed?
I will abstain.
Mark is
I
abstaining.
never read them, so I can't vote. I never
Well,
apparently
we'll make sure that you get.
apparently got them, and I'm just now reading them. So
We will.
Okay. All right. So we'll approve in the minutes as is, and Mark is abstaining. If you find anything that doesn't seem to match up, we can update you later. Okay. The next thing on the agenda is zoning,
cool. It's my turn.
and it's Mark's turn.
Great. Now I can talk. We had a zoning committee meeting this month because there are no zoning applications. I expect that we will have some coming up sometime this year because, like I mentioned at the beginning, during the parks, during one of my many nights of looking at houses I cannot afford on Zillow, because I like to look at houses that I cannot afford, there is 350 acres that have come on the market in the past month. They are both on Bryce Road, and one is south of the 600 homes portion, and then the other is north of the church.
North of Fort Harvest?
The other one.
Baseball.
Correct.
North, what is it?
Baseball.
Probably where that
North of
cattle
Jason.
farm is.
Oh, I saw that for sale sign.
Yeah,
Is that what's his name? Old property, or is that a different parcel?
It's a friend of. It's a different family. They own that farm and they own the other home. And I just saw the sign when I drove by the other day.
I saw that sign, but I thought it was the property that West Virginia and them was trying to do the houses on, and
No,
and it got
that
turned
one
down.
is north of that one.
Okay.
There's another parcel which had that housing development.
Kind of northwest of it.
Yeah, so between Dayspring and the apartments, there are technically two large parcels of acres. One was already slated to potentially be homes. They started grading and then they just randomly disappeared. And then the other 100 and some odd acres just went on the market like a month or so ago, apparently. So I do expect that we'll probably get some buy-in within the next year, given the growth. State of the city. Are we good to have the committee meeting that Tuesday before? Or is it something we need to confirm later?
Let me,
What meeting?
So,
say before, the Wednesday that you usually have it.
correct, because of the state of the city.
Let me check.
Okay,
Oh, you mean have our zoning meeting?
correct. Our zoning committee meeting for April lands on the same day as the state of the city, and given the passage of the Eastland plan, that takes precedence over zoning committee date. So my intent is to have it the Tuesday before. We just got to confirm with Lynn if we have any applications. That is the intended plan. We'll have that Tuesday, same time, same place.
The Tuesday before is the Far East hearing.
Okay.
So, did you want to?
Monday or Thursday? I would like to still have it that week. If I can't do it any later than Thursday, then we may just have to push it. Second.
But they don't meet here.
No. If we can't do either of those days, then we'll probably have to do the Wednesday before.
Or we could put Far East in at the fire station, maybe.
Yeah, they meet here. Because it's technically in the Far East.
That's the fire station.
I know.
We're talking March 31st, right?
No, the week of the state of the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she's figuring that out.
Maybe use this third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday? Okay, yeah, because we all fall on different weeks purposefully.
Yeah, that's fine. 14th of April. The 15th of April is for Tuesday before.
Okay, so the 14th is fine?
The 14th of April is fine. Monday.
Okay.
You sure?
That's just so they'll have back-to-back night meetings. So we're talking about the 14th of April.
For the zoning
I'll
meeting.
put in a special, I'll put it in a public notice. And, we're talking what time?
It would be 6:30, so we'd still do the same time.
Okay, let me
And
put
that's
that on my
if we get any
That's
applications,
if we
because
get
we don't
any
have any
applications.
right now. But if we get any, that's when we'll.
Okay. So then let's plan for the 14th at 6:30 that we'll have a zoning committee meeting if we have any applications. I'm not certain that we will. I don't think we'll have any, to be honest, because hundreds of acres is gone. Now we're hitting a very dull, boring part of our lives in zoning committee. All of our land is gone.
You should knock on wood, so.
There's not much more land left. It's all parkland. So let's keep it that way. All right. So the next is Zone N. They reached out. They want to provide just kind of where phase 1 is at this point and kind of where we're going, from my understanding, and just provide us any of the updates. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Barnes, members of the commission. Thank you for allowing me to come out tonight to speak to you. I just want to give you a couple of updates on.
Could you tell us your name, please? Could you tell us your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I told you.
You told me. I want to make sure everybody else knows your name.
Thank you so much. My name is James Lewis, and I am the Community Relations Coordinator for Zone N. So thank you again for allowing me to be here tonight. Just want to give you a couple of updates on what Zone N is doing. Recap what we did with phase 1. Talk about what we're doing right now at the current moment, and then what we're thinking about doing in successive efforts. So, as you all know, the City of Columbus updated first phase of its zoning update last summer, and that focused on the corridors throughout the City of Columbus, some of the major corridors throughout throughout the city of Columbus. And we were able to rezone approximately 12,300 parcels on major corridors throughout the city. That was approximately 140 miles of corridor. With that, that created the opportunity for us to expand mixed use zoning designations. And so we created 6 districts, new zoning districts from that first phase update. The work that we did in updating the zoning code during the first phase unlocked the ability to create up to 88,000 new housing units on those corridors. And that was based on a capacity study that was done by one of the consultants that we worked with during the first phase. So that 88,000 potential that there are on the corridors that we updated for the first phase, that 88,000 of those new homes that's expected to come for the next 10 years. That's 44% of the regional housing needs. So it's a chunk into what we need for our housing needs, but also we need to rely on our regional partners as well, because that's actually a number that's making up 44% of the region. So we still have work to go. Zoning phase 1, as you all probably know, is working with the Eastland for Everyone plan. A lot of that plan, they looked at zoning as far as the housing, how they could create more housing in that area. And so a lot of the updates that we proposed for some of those corridors, one was South Hamilton Road and Refugee Road in that area, and then also the former Eastland Mall site too was a part of that. And so both of those districts, we rezoned those South Hamilton Road, some portions of it, Refugee Road and the former Eastland Mall site to fall within the Regional Activity Center zoning designation and also the Community Activity Center zoning designation. And what that basically means is that Community Activity Center is more focused on medium parcels, some that have medium-sized buildings and have medium-sized lots. And so those buildings could have by right 5-story maximum. And then based on affordability, I don't want to misspeak,
It's a
community reinvestment areas. In those community reinvestment areas that some of these zoning designations fall within, if you were in community activity center and you have 5 stories by right, then if a developer or someone who is building a building for residential use or mixed use, you would be able to get an additional 2 stories based on how many you reserve for affordability. Also in that area, in addition to community activity center, there's regional activity center. And so regional activity center, that's usually in suburban car-centric areas, just like community activity center is. But with regional activity center, those parcels are kind of closer to freeways and interstates, and those lots are usually larger size lots. And so as far as by right, you could have a 7-story building by right, and then if you reserve some affordability in that building, you could get up to 3 additional stories that you could build. And so that would essentially create a 10-story building. So I want to kind of move into what we've been doing right now. So right now we're focused on updating 161 and the zoning map in that area. And during the first phase, we heard a lot from Northland residents and Northland Community Council and other business associations along that 161 corridor. They're like, hey, we feel like 161 is pretty ripe to be included in this. And so, unfortunately, during the first phase, when we were in the 60-day public comment period, we couldn't add any additional parcels to it. So we decided to sit back and talk to some of the team and really reevaluate and see if 161 could potentially go based on, land use policy and all of the other things that we use to kind of find the parcels in the first phase. And so we decided to go out, talk to members of the Northland area, and they were all game for it. So we've been out there for the past couple of months, attending Northland area business council meetings and Northland community council meetings, talking back and forth to them. So what we're doing right now, council actually voted on a resolution to start a 60-day public comment period for the map update for 161. And so what we're doing is we're using some of the zoning designations that we created under phase 1 and applying them to parcels that make sense on the 161 corridor. Since that's auto oriented and they have medium sized lots and setbacks are kind of far from 161, what made a lot of sense there also is community activity center and regional activity. And then there's a small strip of residential on 161, and so we propose urban general too for that area. And that's more of kind of a transitional area between those two zoning districts. Obviously, you don't want to go from 5 stories and then you have a residential strip. And then, okay, right here you got 10 stories. It's like there needs to be some transition. There needs to be some, need to think about how we can make that
Not block
work
her
together.
sunlight.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so right now we're actually in the midst of that 60-day public comment period. It ends on May the 10th. If you are interested in 161, it's open to anybody in the city of Columbus to look at what we're proposing and provide feedback, similar to what happened during phase 1 with the 60-day public comment period. And, you know, we had the zone-in gallery and things of that nature. So this is a little smaller scale. But I have a card with me that has a QR code. Answer your question.
Oh, I was just saying I'm interested in your card
Yes,
for
ma'am.
that.
I can surely get that to you.
I appreciate you.
And so that QR code will, if you scan that, that'll take you straight to our zone-in website where we've got information from what we did in the first phase. We've got videos. We've got all kinds of things. It's our hub to show you what we've been doing as far as our work on this project thus far. And you can take a survey that's associated with that. You can read the proposal. You know, I'm looking through all the comments, so I'm reading them and kind of getting a feel for what the general consensus is, and it seems to be pretty positive. We're only about 15 days in, so there's still some time, but I anticipate that it will continue to be relatively positive. And so now the future of zoning. We're still in the early phases of it. We're still sitting around the table seeing like what we should do, what looks good, what's the best place to go. So right now we're focusing on economic opportunity and housing. We're looking to strengthen the connection between where residents live and where they work because we feel like that's essential to promoting economic opportunity. In addition to that, those specifically the districts that we're looking at as they stand right now are manufacturing districts, commercial districts, and institutional districts. Institutional is kind of like your hospitals, commercial, manufacturing, kind of self-explanatory. But we want these updates to create a modern zoning district that would be able to support the current economy in these various areas of the city. And they can offer stability and prosperity to the residents that live there. Before we create those zoning districts, we have to look at our existing land use plans. Right now, the land use plans that we have, like C2P2 and some of the area plans that we have on file, they were enough for the first phase of zoning, but we don't anticipate that they will be sufficient enough to go off of for second phases. So we have to refine those policies. So that's kind of what's happening right now. Our city planners are looking at different areas of the city, seeing what's the feasibility to, you know, create a zoning district that, how would it look to create an economic opportunity zoning district that would actually be able to deliver that. What we plan on doing as we continue to have these conversations, we plan on coming back out to the area commission later on in the spring and early summer potentially to talk to you about what that what that process is looking like. And I forgot to plug this for 161. During that 60-day public comment period, we're also going to have 2 public hearings. I just found out today that the first public hearing that we had initially scheduled for April the 2nd, it's being pushed back to the end of April. I want to make sure that that date is actually set. They shared April the 30th, but we still have to confirm it. But I do know that the second public hearing is confirmed for May the 28th, and those public hearings will be at City Council chambers, and they will be from 5 to 6:30 in the evening, and that information will also be posted on our website too. It'll be down at the bottom. We have a calendar on the website that shows all the upcoming events as far as zoning goes. But in conclusion, just want to say that the work with zoning is ongoing. We're still plugging along. The 161 public comment period is now open, so if you want to publicly comment there, please feel free to do so.
Is there a place, are you guys going to have a place in the area for their residents to go and look at the prospective plans for the zoning other than what you're putting online for people to look at to do the survey?
We have been. What we did, I did this last week actually. We've been trying to pop up in the area with information and make residents in the area that may not be directly on the corridor within 125 feet of it, make them aware of it. So we've just been trying to hit up the Northland Community Council and those businesses. They've been pushing our information out through their respective civic associations in the area to push it out that way organically. I know the City Council has been assisting us with social media, helping us push it out that way, but we definitely want to do pop-ups. We don't have the budget that we have with the gallery, so to speak, so we've been trying to do more grassroots engagement, and so that's been our response to that. But we're definitely open to engaging of our current efforts.
Do you envision that developers are just going to come and want to develop structures that will be of the 7 to 10 stories because of the zoning changes, or do you think that developers will still stick to the 3 or 4 stories, or 3 stories or less building types?
That's a really good question. I think there are a lot of considerations with that. I think that what we want to do definitely is set the table for them to have that option, because if we do that, we think that these zoning districts that we created would be able to create that housing that we need, and those corridors have a lot of capacity to do it. I think that the planners at the city that look at these initial plans and applications and do them, they kind of have a better idea than I do at this point. But I do think that, like, as developers start to understand this new code and familiarize themselves with it, that they may be able to actually produce units or buildings that actually will satisfy some of the needs.
I'm sorry, you have a question?
Sure. The website doesn't seem to like loading very easily. So is this something that you're going to have addressed?
Yes.
And then with last time the survey wasn't available in any other language besides English. So is that going to be addressed this time around?
I spoke with my colleague, and he, and I know that this, I spoke with him and asked him about that because that was at the top of my mind as far as being able to have it in different languages so that we could have different individuals from different populations take surveys and interact with us with these. He mentioned to me that there is a browser capability where you can change it to language. That's right. That was it was a page. Yes, you can change it to language. I felt like that was a good start, but I actually want to get materials that are actually translated into top language in this area because I think that that's definitely a valid point when you're trying to.
The survey did not seem to change last time.
Okay.
survey is not,
Okay,
because if you get one for a Google search,
okay, I will
that
share
is
that.
not, that was the problem. So
Okay.
maybe they're using some other kind of technology, although I've been sitting at a circle for the entire time we've been talking, so this is the website that you're directing me to.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Might be this building, sometimes it does that to us.
Yeah, I have so far.
But I understand what you're
More
saying.
time.
Okay. To this date, we've had 100 and my last count was 139 submissions, and I checked it today, and they're still actually filling out those surveys as of.
There's 900,000 residents in that area.
Yep.
I would like to touch base with you on that same initiative. I am in direct contact with a lot of New Americans in our area. I write for New American Magazine as well as connect with the leaders locally here. So if you have plans that are in Nepali, that are in, Hispanic language, in different dialects, then let me know so that I can begin to distribute them amongst my fellow commissioners and then to my neighborhood area, because I have Nepali neighbors, I have Somalians across from me, so on and so forth. So we want to make sure that everyone is included in this and as well informed. And for the development, looking at the buildings and how you're going to have everything situated, are you guys like just dreaming a dream? Or are you comparing and contrasting to what other cities are doing so that you could have a look at what might be new and what's fresh? Again, I challenge you like I did with Parks and Rec that the East Side, we've been waiting for something to call our own, and we want something that we can be identified. Like I mentioned, you go to Blacklick, you go to Reelsburg, they're known for Blacklick, and so on and so forth. And so we really put a lot of time and effort, all the different commissions with this project. I'm actually from Atlanta, so when I see this, I get excited, but it's got to fit that area. And I'm hoping that there are some affordable housing that's going to be over there that doesn't look like affordable housing, but actually looks like something that people can be proud of in that area. I just mentioned that because I was with a senior citizen, and she was trying to find housing that was 2 years. They have a 2-year wait, so those are some considerations I'd like.
Are there any more questions?
I'm sorry, I do have one question. What date did you say the second public hearing was going to be on? So April 2nd, that may be changed, but the second one is going to be when?
May 28th.
Thank you.
Cool.
What time?
5 to 6.
Alright. Any more questions on zoning? Cool. Next item. We're gonna appointing another resident to the zoning committee. Go me. Recruiting people.
Yes.
Jacob reached out to me, I think last August or September, and he had moved from Columbus, from another part of Ohio. Was interested in the commission as a whole. Got to learn about a little bit of what we have done. Took some time to think over it and come to the agreement that he is interested in serving on our zoning committee, maybe potentially as a full commissioner in the future. So we had some discussions, and he's in full agreement, and so it is now on the agenda. You are all free to ask him any questions that you want. He resides down in Gender Park Condos.
Is that off Shannon?
No, it's off Gender. Across from D store.
Oh.
The store.
The store.
It's from the store. Yes. But yeah, here to the agreement. So he's on the agenda for this month in time for our April meeting, which would instill with him full voting rights on the committee. And that way we, for the first time in years, have a couple of residents on our committee to have some resident input outside of just us. So
What part of Ohio did you move from?
I went to high school in Urbana, near
You're just not moving from Urbana to Columbus? Welcome to paradise.
Glad you got out of Springfield.
Try something else to eat, huh?
Better be good.
All right. Seeing no questions, then I will make a motion to appoint Jacob to our zoning committee. By bylaws, his term will end at our general meeting, which is January 27th of 2026, where we'll need to reappoint all of our residents to our committees that are on them.
I'll second it.
Awesome. First and a second, and then I could just do a quick roll call vote. Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Commissioner Calhoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Bunting,
Yep.
Commissioner Harper is a yes. Chair Barnes,
Yes.
awesome. It's unanimous. So you are all set. Obviously, we'll be in touch.
Got to be at all the meetings. Might be able to miss one or two. I forget how many, but we need to
We only
be at
have
all the
10.
meetings.
We only have 10 meetings a year, and one of them's been canceled. So now we're at 9. Outside of that, I don't have anything else.
What about the update on Lindora?
Yeah, you have Lindora.
Did I skip Lindora?
Yeah, she skipped Lindora.
Okay, so this is really quick, and then we'll let you go. Chair Barnes went to the open house for the Big Walnut Trail. I did not. We're just waiting for it to come online so I can look at it. Had a conversation with a planning manager. I believe that's what his title is.
About the canoes.
Apparently about canoes. Well, the canoe conversation turned into a bigger conversation. So not this week, but next week, I will be setting up a meeting with Parks and Rec Planning Manager Brad Westall. And I will be providing him information about the whole zoning process with Lindora, where it's at, what they're trying to do. We have learned, because Lindora is technically under an acre, anything under an acre does not really come on Parks and Rec's docket as potential land for purchase. Parks and Rec has a budget to just purchase land, hold on to it till they have money to develop it. They have done this in other parts of the city. After our budget meeting, we learned someone from the Southwest ended up getting Parks and Rec to buy a plot of land to avoid development so that they could use it as a community park. And so I'm going to set up this meeting, have a conversation with him. They are interested in purchasing that lot. They're also interested in purchasing the lot from
The football field.
the youth league. And so once we told him it had not been fully through city council yet, that perked his ears a little bit. And so hopefully we can convince Park and Rec to have that conversation with a developer. Get the developer his fair price, potential recoup some designing costs. And if the developer wants to develop on another parcel elsewhere in our community that is more fitting for the type of development that he wants, even from the most progressive stances of planning and theory that are out there, that is kind of the direction we are going. So,
And I also made a deal with Brad that if we get this to go through and he can get the football field in that corner lot, we'll have a big party down there at Mayberry Park, and I'll supply pony rides for the kids.
So we'll nominate you mayor of Lindora.
Mayor of Lindora.
Mayor of Lindora. Obviously, we have to go with the dunking factors with this whole thing as it goes through the zoning process and try to use that as part of our argument and incorporate the Eastland plan that's now in place. Because the city has followed Warren Linden, they have followed the Hilltop. If they're really going to put their money where their mouth is, then hopefully they're going to follow through with Eastland for everyone like they've done the other two. And obviously with our plan, this development does not fit in that plan with this park. This node is supposed to be a community node to bring people together, provide community resources. While one could argue a house is part of that argument, it is completely out of the nature of the neighborhood and would take away from potential economics commercial development, additional social development through parks, things like that. So that's where we're going with it. I'm hoping that this all works out in our favor and we can get a win. And, we can call 10 TV to get an update on the news that they did when it first came out and say we won.
And I've got her phone number.
So that's kind of an update on Lindora. It's not on the city docket yet. I've not been contacted by city council that there's an update on it. I don't know if they've met with the developer and part of this remediation style meetings that they do when the area commission fully objects to a development, because we're in a unique position that we're just not rejecting it because it's an apartment complex. We're rejecting it because we don't think that that's the appropriate use.
I know the stakes has been pulled up down there. I don't know whether the football team did it or who did it, but the stakes are gone.
I do know I've seen on Facebook that they are still working through their designing plans, so I'm assuming they think they're going to get a rubber stamp at city council because they're still working through it. So trying to, bite the bullet.
And we can also use, I know of at least 25 residents that's got realtors on speed dial to put their houses up for sale if that goes in.
I know, and that's our avoidance. We want to keep that node and that area community oriented to keep people in their houses, not bring something that's outside of that intended plan. When we did our land use plan 7 years ago, we just spent almost 2 years on the community plan where we have said what we want, and so that's what we're going for. That's why we were put on the commission. That's what we're using in all of that going forward with the new development, all this money that's coming in with Eastland, and we're going to stick to the plan, then we need to stick to the plan. So that's an update. I've been wanting to tell you for a little while, but obviously I have to keep it in the public domain just because of the nature of the update.
And I'm getting a hold of Angela. I got what Angie needs from Sophie got me what Angie needs to sign that football field over to the parks, which the parks will walk away with that property for nothing. $0.
Look, I'm fine with that. Free park. Let's do it. But hopefully, we can make this something for the community that will ultimately benefit it. So, yeah, that's the update on Lindora. Some somewhat good news.
Thank you.
Thank you. We needed that little drop of joy.
So we next on the agenda, I'm going to try to hurry through this because it's almost 8:30.
And Officer Myers rescued.
I know, but she gave his report. Do you still need to give her additional report? Because Sophie gave you your report for you because you weren't here.
Do you have any questions with him or anything that you want him to follow up?
Is there anything major we should know?
No, I just have one thing. Tomorrow, well, maybe Sophie covered this one other thing, but tomorrow we're under the stand behind the building.
But there's a camera right there behind you.
Right there?
Yes.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live
We're
now.
live, baby.
Tomorrow we're having an all hands meeting with our commander for the zone. It'll be our first meeting with Commander Lokai, the new zone commander. And it's kind of the season where we start planning for what's going to happen over the summer, as far as like we do a lot of projects overtime. We do we have to deal with all the 4-wheelers and the dirt bikes. So that kind of planning is going on right now. And that's probably what we'll find out tomorrow, what his idea is for this side of town. So maybe next meeting I'll have more for you as far as what's going to happen this summer. If there's anything different, probably a lot of things. But there's that, and then Sophie, did you talk about commons at Water's Edge?
Yes.
No? Okay. That's of interest. They did reach out to me and said, and the new prospective owners, are they new? Are they actually the owners?
Not quite.
Okay. But they were acting like they were, and they were very enthusiastic about meeting with me and another officer who handles things like apartment complexes about how they can make it better. They had a bunch of ideas that sound really pie in the sky kind of stuff, but if it comes through, that area is going to be much better off.
Could you please ask them, the new owners, to get in touch with me, the chair of the Greater Southeast Area Commission? I would like to have their contact information.
Sure.
I'd also like to get them to come to one of our meetings so we can brief them on, the Eastland plan, they may not have been involved in a lot or gone to any of those meetings. So I just would like to get them more engaged in the community and meet them so they can have a more active role in the community.
Yeah, as far as I know, they are very new. I think that helped us just recently.
And
So-
also the 3 houses you have for the shootings we've had over there in Walnut Heights, the 2 on Carbondale, the one on I think it's Mount Crest.
Mhm.
All of them are your dirt bikers and 4-wheelers too.
Okay. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're already dealing with a little bit. Sorry, but
Yeah, I heard it last night from my bedroom with the windows closed, and I heard.
Do you know what happened with the apartments there behind where it used to be UDF? Now it's that Mike's.
Oh, right there, no big speed rescue or
Refuge.
Carbondale. No big speed in Carbondale, right there where Marathon and the UDF is.
Yeah.
When did it happen?
It was last night, towards the evening. It was in the evening. It was after dark. The whole, there was tons of officers in there.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear anything. I'll check into it. What happened last night? Okay. I didn't hear anything about that. And the only other thing maybe of interest, we aren't getting the statistic reports like we usually get, but we're getting homicide and felonious assault reports, which I'm trying to figure out if those are for public consumption. If they are, I'll put them up. But if not, I can at least tell you that homicide and felonious assault are down so far this year. Anything for me?
Is that over? That's just over here or in total?
That was for Lowell City. No, that was actually for Lowell City. The reports they break up by zone. But for Lowell City, they're considerably down so far this year. Just comparing through March year to year, we're down pretty much. So that hopefully stays down.
Thank you. So quickly, everybody, I'm going to go through the committee reports. Do we have a report for the Treasury?
No.
Do we have a report for a youth report?
The youth, we're currently working on, yes, we're currently working on getting a plan for the youth together. I'm working with Tom Carlisle, who has some things carved out so that we don't have to start at ground zero. So I will report back in the next meeting. Before then, I have some materials that he has emailed to me, so I will email those out and text you, Mark. Make sure you got them so that everybody can review the information before I put it out for a vote next meeting. Thank you. Mark.
And then Sheila Blanchard's not here. Mark, do you have anything for communications?
I'm trying to think.
Can I do say I enjoy the increased activity on Facebook? Thank you for putting that information out there.
Yes, I try to. Now that I have one less job on the commission, I can put my efforts in all the other jobs I have on the commission. No, I am trying to be more active on Facebook and stuff, but I have like 4 different profiles between my own one I use for my commissioner role. I have a side business that I have too, so yeah, sometimes I just want to throw the phone and not do it. So yes, I'm trying to do more of that. Email-wise, because I did get one of those emails with the stats, I went through the entire email list that Officer Myers used, and I have taken the initiative on myself to add everyone that I recognized was within our area. Obviously, by law, we give them an option to opt out if they don't want to, but they have been added. So we've got additional people that are receiving some of our email blasts. Outside of that, I think really the only thing is I just gotta meet with Peaches and just flesh out a system. That way we can make sure that all of our meetings are being posted and out 72 hours business-wise, at least by that Thursday evening before our meetings. That way I can do email blasts and have everything ready. So that's about it for communications.
Thank you. Diana, anything on the code enforcement? Any updates other than what we've already discussed?
No, I just been calling in mostly the box trucks and stuff that's going around. I mean, grass and stuff ain't too bad.
Great,
Or
thank you.
not.
Bylaws, any updates?
I do want to say something about
But we
bylaws.
do need to get the bylaws updated.
Correct. If we, because of the way our bylaws are, and because she mentioned it on the last meeting, if we want to have everything changed and in place by the time August elections are, we have to hear them next month at April, and we have to vote on them by May. Because they have to
Do we
be.
need a special meeting to go through the bylaws, and we can have it here, make it a
Well, we
public
already
meeting?
did. We just got to hash out what we want to do with the committee.
Right, we never got through all of the details.
So, I mean, we can. But by our bylaws, because we require 90 days of no change period, has to be done by May.
I'll try to find a date that we can meet. Maybe it's,
Well, that's completely separate.
no, I meant maybe we can use the zoning meeting if we don't have any zoning applications, or use the rest of the zoning meeting if we only have one application. Go over the bylaws.
I mean, if we want to use that same time period in April, if we don't have zoning, we can substitute it.
That'll work with me.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just.
then we don't have to have an extra meeting.
I mean, normally, if I don't receive zoning applications a week before the meeting, I cancel the meeting.
So don't cancel it. We're still going to do the
Okay.
bylaws.
Then a week before, I'll let everyone know if we have any applications, and if not, we can just substitute it.
We'd like to put that in the public notice for those people putting that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because you at least have to say that you're going to discuss that topic in it if it's added to a special meeting.
Okay.
day.
Then I'll CC you on that one too, unless you just want to put it in Joel.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So that's everything for the report. So the report from the chair. I asked the ODOT for an update on the 33 Bixby Road update, and there are some updates for that. I'll send them to everybody because I'll have to scan them in and send them because they sent them to me in a letter, just kind of outlining what changes there are, what their schedule is, and basically that they've been keeping the officials of Canal Winchester updated for those changes, but they really haven't. Nobody on that list is from Columbus. So I don't know why Charles is not, because every time I ask Charles, he doesn't seem to know what's going on with the ODOT
Didn't
thing.
Charles get a new position?
I think he doesn't even have that position, so I don't know what his new
He has a
position
new
is.
job.
Charles, did you want, why don't you send him that information?
Okay. So-
CC me.
Okay. But there are some significant updates, and they are working on that. If you ever come down through there, you probably notice that they've been putting up poles with wires hanging from them. I only notice because I'm an electrician. The poles, they're running the fiber optics down through there, so that when they widen the road, they're going to drop those fiber optics in the middle of the highway instead of on the side of the highway. So they're in the air, which kind of looks bad right now, but eventually they will be dropped in the middle of the highway. They said that they're going to do a retaining wall down the center so that they have 3 lanes on each side. So that's the plan right now for the 33 widening, and it is going to go from Pickerington Road all the way to 104 around Refugee, and they are also going to be making some changes to that area over there to compensate for the fact that Columbus State is coming to that area, and they want to make it easier for people to get in and out no matter which direction of college you're coming from. Right now, you got to make all these changes, and if you're coming from Livingston, you got to go all the way down to Refugee and then it back on the thing and then go back the other way. So they're going to fix that part. So that's a little bit of an update on that. But you can look at the details when I send that out. I did schedule and pay for Shred Day for 6/21, as we agreed. We also were supposed to have it. My initial plan was to have it in the Kroger parking lot by the Park National Bank, but that's not going to work out right now. So I'm still looking at the Kroger parking lot. If that doesn't work, we will try to look at Saraga too. So I'm trying to look at either one of those locations. Somebody has a better location, let me know. I just wanted to be in a visible location in our commission area. So I'm also getting the Franklin County resources bus, which has various different resources for Franklin County, such as I think they have like a health thing, the jobs that they have, like 4 or 5 different services that the bus comes around to different neighborhoods and provides to people so they don't have to go to the various different buildings for that. So I'll have that bus. I'm trying to get that bus there. And I'm also looking at having a couple food trucks maybe, and if you know people that are little, small vendors, we did that before, and it was really fun, and it was helpful for the people who do it. But if you know somebody who sells T-shirts, or there was a little girl who had a lemonade stand, and then there was a couple people that had just different kind of little jewelry that they were selling. So if you know anybody that has, little vendor stuff, let me know so I can reach out to them and see if they want to come and set up a table, and we'll have, a little vendor thing there again. Maybe even a fruit and vegetable stand if you know somebody who has vegetables or whatever. Because it is in June, so we might have some growth with vegetables or something that people might want to sell.
We could
Produce.
potentially get in contact with county engineer. I know county engineer's office loves to bring touch a truck.
What's it called? Touch up truck?
Touch a truck, yeah, that's what they call it.
Oh, touch a truck.
Yeah, they'll bring out their little, I call it a little snowplow. I don't know why I call that thing little. It's huge. They bring out the snowplows, and they'll park them, and kids can get in and out, and all kinds of stuff.
Okay. All right, and then again, I registered for Make Columbus Beautiful for the 4 or 5 day, and I put various different neighborhoods in. I sent an email to all of you. I would like you to look at to tell me if you can coordinate, people for your side, for your neighborhood that you represent right now as part of the commission, to take responsibility for one of those cleanup areas. And if you can do one of those cleanup areas, let me know, because I'll go down and get all of the materials that morning and bring to all of you to do your area. The one thing that we did do the last time was we had some bottled water for everybody so that people had something to drink while they were out there. We've had them a few
3
days
of us is working on doing Chatterton Road now.
Okay. Now?
Within the next couple of weeks we'll be
not going to wait for April 5?
And they're wanting to do it.
Okay. I was going to say that is within the next couple of weeks. April 5th isn't that far away. So if they can wait until that day, I'll get them the gloves, the jackets, the picker things, the bags that they need. All of that's being provided by the city, so people don't have to get that themselves.
You said that's April 5th?
Mm-hmm. And Officer Myers, do you do any kind of support for that? Because the corner of Gender and Lehman Road is a corner that I would like to do, and it's really like people come flying around that corner. Is there any way that you'll be available that day, or do you know?
April 5th.
Must be a Saturday, I'm assuming.
Performance Academy has a spring fling event that I know I'm scheduled to be at from 11 to 2, so I would be available early in the morning. We do that for different communities when they do their litter pickup, like at different intersections we kind of turn lights on. So I could, but I do know I have to be at the performance at 11.
Okay, I think it's 9 to 12 that day.
Okay. If
So,
you send me something and need me there right at 9, I would be there for an hour and a half. So I got to go.
Okay, maybe we can get it done fast and move on down the road where we won't need anybody on that corner.
I was gonna say I could kind of do the D store up to like Wright Road, but on the one side there is no sidewalk, so it would be nice if there's police.
Yeah, because city will have to come out with no Bixby because they got to have police and stuff. Because I'm telling you what, you don't dare try to do anything on no Bixby, you'll get hit.
Is there any other officers that are available that would be able to do that if they're not busy that day? I don't know. I'm just trying to get somebody that, Ginger Road is a busy area.
Or is there like a request process for that?
I don't think, we wouldn't be able to specifically request it because then they're getting into like special duty kind of thing.
Right.
Patrol can't commit to something like that, and they're responsible for patrol. But for the CLOs, like Officer Hitty and Officer Culver here on the east side, if they're not doing anything, they could probably do something out with a little bit of time. Saturdays are starting to become busy for us because a lot of folks are playing their day.
You know what y'all need? Y'all need some flashing cones. And we could just put them out and turn them on and make them flash so people, know to move over.
So it looks like.
Not one.
Yeah, so it looks like
Just park your car over there with the light.
Okay.
But if you send me something as a reminder, I can try to be there, and then the other officers might have.
Okay. And I know I've done it. I've done that corner quite a few times, and I just put my vest on, and I do have a cone or two, and I just put the cones along there so people will go out further. But my house is on a curve, and I'm out there yelling like, "Slow down!"
Traffic on Saturday mornings when we usually do these litter pickups isn't too bad usually, so it's usually a little better. But yeah, you still probably.
Okay. All right. And that's all I have for from the chair. There is well, I already did the ODOT updates on old business, and for new business, Humanity First Ohio Town Hall update. You want to give an update on that?
Yeah, I'll do it really quickly because I know we're all getting ready to go. But I would love to thank all of the commissioners who came out to Humanity First Ohio's community town hall. Humanity First Ohio had about 80 people to show up. We had a back and forth dialogue with our state house reps. We had some school board members there. We had a congressional member there to answer questions. And so I appreciate everyone who did get a chance. If you didn't get a chance to make it out and you want to see some of the questions that were being asked, you could go to Facebook and look up Humanity First Ohio. You can also go to the website, humanityfirstohio.org, and view some of the footage. I know I have to go on the website and edit it so I can add the footage, but there's footage already on YouTube and Facebook if you want to catch some of that. So we're working, Humanity First Ohio is working on getting school board superintendents and treasurers together for the next town hall that we'll do so the community can ask questions about SB1 and how it's going to affect all the different areas that we touch on the east side, and to also see how the community can help, how we could get involved and help. There's also on May 6th, there's also Honesty for Ohio Education. They will be coming out, Rachel Coyle will be coming out to do a training that she calls How Things Work at the Ohio State House Advocacy Training for the community. So we will be having that. We believe at Humanity First Ohio that training is cornerstone to understanding how we can move forward more efficiently and accurately. So thank you to everyone that showed up to help. Thanks, Mark, for all your great questions to ask to the board. We did have Morgan Harper too to do the.
No relation.
I was wondering too. She was our moderator, so she was able to make the most of the meeting. So thank you.
All right, and with that said, I don't have anything else on the agenda. No general speakers. We already have those. And so, does anyone else have anything? Yes, sir.
At the bottom of the agenda, it says that there's a meeting on March 26th.
Tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
No, that's an error.
April 22nd.
It's April the 22nd.
And I will not be here, so.
If there is, you're the only one that's going
You
to
get a break from me.
All right. So if there.
Can I add in something just really fast?
Really fast.
Really fast. Congratulations to you. I spoke with Peaches because she was trying to get a city council member to attend, and just because it was a couple days and couldn't really get them, all their schedules were really busy. I'm so happy for you. Very proud of you. 80 people to come and having the public officials attend to be able to ask questions. I think that is so awesome. So I just wanted to verbally say congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations to the community, really. We had 11 people on the panel, and everyone got to ask. It was normally, as you know, you have to submit the questions in advance. But our leaders showed up and they showed out in a way that they were able to, like the city attorney, take it to the chest and allow everybody to ask whatever question that they wanted to ask in whatever capacity, and it allowed our leaders to start thinking. I mean, we don't always have the answers, right? But as everyone was listening to each other's questions and responses, you could hear Dontavia say, "That's a great question," to spark ideas and different things like that. So I was just, I'm a humble servant leader. That's how I think of it. And I was just grateful to have that be brought to our community. And we've got more requests for that. So I'm working very hard to get that, not only as a commissioner for my neighborhood, but for our whole side and community as a whole, to help educate anyone who's interested in being educated. So I kind of don't want to,
And I'll
go
just
at
say, from my perspective, I'll just say that he just did a great job. She pulled this together really fast. She got a nonprofit set up in probably a week and a half, and she did all of the publications, the website, the Evite. She did all of it. She was up almost every night calling me at 3:00 in the morning asking me stuff, and we were able to get people from both parties to come. And we had representation from Michelle Reynolds' office, and it was a good meeting. It gave everybody an opportunity to ask their questions. And I will just say, for the record, if Peaches has another one of these, they are nonpartisan. We do want people from both parties. We want our community to have the opportunity to ask their elected public officials questions. These are elected people. We don't get to see them in our communities very often. We don't get to talk to them face to face. And it is an opportunity for you to be able to express your questions or things that concern your neighborhood. And these are our neighborhoods that we're targeting. We're not looking at what's going on the west side or what's going on the north side. These are people who represent us in our neighborhoods out here. So it did go over, I thought, very well. And the church was very, very accommodating. They did a wonderful job hosting us. So so I'm very grateful for that. And like I said, she did a wonderful job, I think, for all she had to put together by herself. She did a good job. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you, everybody. And we will adjourn at 8:45.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed?